Hi, Joe Cerrone.
And Alan Rosen.
Welcome to CAD-116 Basic AutoCAD in our weekly Zoom classroom meeting. This is our first Zoom classroom meeting, and so we're going to go through some of the things that you need for the course. We'll hold these meetings every Thursday at 9 a.m. using the same link right here. Last week, we had a meeting that we recorded, and the recording is available right here. And basically, we talked to students about how to get the software and the textbooks. And so we'll kind of recap that today as the first class. We have 20 students in the class, and so some people might not have known about it. But that information is available right here. You can just click on this video and play it. Hi, Joe Cerrone.
And I'm Alan Rosen.
We were in San Francisco last week, right, Al?
Yep.
So that information about how the orientation meeting is available. Back to the main splash page. And then this getting started, we'll talk to you about how to get started with AutoCAD.
This is the getting started lesson. We've already learned about development of computer-aided design.
And so Al's really good about putting content in there that will help students kind of navigate their way around. Here's how to install the AutoCAD software. And so if you haven't installed AutoCAD, I went through and created a video on it. We're using the 22 textbook.
In this video, I'm going to show.
But on the 22 textbook is available. The 23 textbook is not, but our IT department put the 23 version software on our computers. And so you can download and use AutoCAD 2023 like it shows in the video, and there's really no difference in the way that it works or performs. You have to go to the Autodesk student website, and you have to fill out an application or create an account. And basically what they do is they verify that you're a student. And once they verify that you're a student, you can get access to download the software.
And if anybody has a Mac, Apple product, laptop, what you can do, it's only a suggestion, is if you make an appointment at one local Apple stores and to explain to them you want to partition your hard drive. What happens is then you have the best of both worlds. You have Mac and then you have Windows. Yes, AutoCAD is designed to use on a Mac. It has a complete different view on it.
It does look different, but it still is compatible with the Windows version. So if you're set on using the Mac version, you can, but we're using Windows, and that's how the videos are going to be set up. So you can get the textbook. You can click on this link. I believe it's also in the bookstore, SDC Publications, and then there's purchase options here. And so you can get electronic books. Red Shelf is a really great way to get delivery of those textbooks. And then you can also get printed books on Amazon. And I'm not sure if it'll link over to it on Amazon directly. Yeah. And so you can get the book for $90. It's not cheap, but I've paid a lot more for books than that. And then if we come back to our website here, if it lets me.
And what's nice about it, Joe, that book that we just showed you, it's good for the 116, 117, and 118 course.
Right. So you can kind of gear up on your AutoCAD knowledge. There's not a lot of places that teach AutoCAD. And so you're in the right place for that. And then this is more of a mechanical book. We used it for students who want sort of a cookbook approach to going through and using AutoCAD. And so the book is set up as tutorials where you go through each assignment and they tell you which button to push and how to create the drawing geometry. But it's a reference only. You don't have to purchase that book. We just wanted to make sure that we had resources available. All right, so as we take a look at the D2L course shell, we have content. In the content area is where we'll post our drawings. And I'm going to go in here as a student just to make sure that I see everything the same way that the students do. So under content, you have the course syllabus. PDFs load a little faster, so I usually click on those. We put the word processing files on there in case we have to make any edits. The best way to cover, so this course is taught by myself, Joe Cerrone, and Alan Rosen. Best way to contact us is in the D2L email. We both have webmail through Oakton, but D2L will give us notifications, and they're right within the D2L course shell. If you need to get a hold of me on the phone, this is my office phone. You can call me there, but email works best. And as we look at the course, there's no prerequisites, so it's a basic course. First course in drafting and design using AutoCAD. It's an introductory CAD course where we're going to go through architectural and engineering applications. We'll use the computer to draw and plot architectural and engineering drawings, plans, elevations, and three-dimensional views. And so basically we set up how to work with the drawings electronically, drawing and editing, construction techniques, working with layers, dimensions, detailings, blocks, and plotting. And our learning objectives are basically very much kind of like what we were talking about in the course description. We'll have an emphasis on how to draft, okay? The language of drafting using the correct letters, line weights, text heights, so that you can have employable skills within that. We go through plot plans, elevations, 3D views, and then the idea is to be able to solve problems using the computer as a drafting tool. Academic integrity is basically just codes of conduct. And we tell students, you know, if you're overwhelmed, if you can't get the course assignment done, just email and ask for an extension. We're not trying to weed anybody out or anything like that. And we understand everybody's got things going on. But sometimes, you know, things get in the way. And if that happens, just email Al and I and ask for an extension. We have an outline of topics. Go ahead, Al.
No, we have no problem doing that, or even extra help if you want. So just let us know.
We use textbooks, video tutorials. And so essentially we'll go through these different exercises, but really the best way to learn CAD is by videos or in-person instruction where they're actually just showing you, which is the same thing as videos. And so the textbooks kind of guide the course in the direction that we want to take it. But the textbooks, when you try to learn how to use CAD, they use words and paragraphs and things like that. And then you have to translate that into drawing commands. So it's kind of a media-based course that will then work to teach you how to use CAD. And it's kind of a workshop. As we go through, Al and I have been teaching these courses for a while. We were both high school instructors, and we're used to teaching 25 kids in a class, 5 classes a day. And so as we go through, we understand that not everybody gets everything the first time. And so that's how the course is set. We have a lot of drawing assignments that are really basic in the beginning, and then they advance to more advanced techniques. And we'll have bonus assignments. And so if you get the first assignment done and you want more work to do, go ahead and do some of the bonus assignments. I want to talk about grading and progress evaluation, Al?
Yes, it's a total of 100 points that we have here. A is worth 90 points to 100. B is 80, C is 70, 60, and then below. We also have late assignments. It says over there is 1% to 10%. Sometimes if you're going to be late, just let us know and it does not apply to you. So it's no problem. Other course information, Joe, if you want to go down there a little bit more.
So Oakton values diversity in learners and community members. So there's just a lot of services available to students for access. If you have any special needs or need to talk to a counselor or professional, you can contact the Wellness Center, Student Affairs, in those areas. And so the college has a very supportive environment, and they want to pass that knowledge along to the students. Building closures and things like that. I believe they have a messaging system in the student login portal where not so much in the weather right now, but in the wintertime, sometimes we'll have snow days and they'll tell you that the building is closed. Sometimes we'll get these floods over at the Des Plaines campus because we're right on the Des Plaines River, but they will notify you if you give them that information, and you'll get a text message if the school is closed. But the best place to check is just to go to the Oakton website, and then you can get that content if the school is open. You don't have to call us. A line of topics.
Yes.
So as we look at the outline of topics, every week we'll go through a couple of chapters within the textbook. And when you go through the textbook, you'll notice that it is very basic, you know, how to start the AutoCAD system, how to save a drawing. And so if you have basic computer skills, this should be a breeze. And then the module assignments are laid out for you so that you can then put those skills into practice. Al, you want to talk a little bit about these, and I'll just
Yeah.
kind of follow along.
No problem. As you see it, it's color coded. The blue is reading assignments, green is drawing assignments, red is quizzes, tests, and etc. go along with it. We normally have these set up so it's approximately a week to 2 weeks out. So for handing in assignments, so there's no problem. We cover chapter 1 and 2, then the next week 3 and 4. If you have any questions, problems, concerns, whatever else, let us know, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. As you look at it, we have videos, PowerPoints go along with each one of these, and then Joe and I will show you momentarily on that.
Right. So each week we'll have, like, the focus would be draw commands, modify commands, viewing commands. But when you start AutoCAD, you kind of need to use all of it at once. And so, you know, to go 7 weeks out before we learn how to do dimensioning, probably we'll dive into some of those things before, but the textbook and the chapters that cover that are listed in blue. So all the reading assignment, Al has color coded as blue, and the textbook chapters that go with it. And then green goes through the modules where we reinforce those concepts with hands-on labs. And then just to make sure that people are getting it, we have these quizzes, which are located in the quizzes and exams. They're just multiple choice quizzes. And how do you run those quizzes, Al?
I give you 4 chances for a grade onto it. It picks up the best out of 4. If you have any questions, you want to reset, you want to try it again, let us know. I will be happy to do that for you.
Right. So they're not geared to weed you out. They're geared to make sure that you're understanding how to use these different commands. And so those are typically multiple choice questions. You can use open book, open computer. And when we take the final exam for the course, that's proctored, and that you can still use the textbook and things like that, but we want to make sure that everybody is who they say they are. And so we'll use, I want to say ProctorU, but we'll use a proctoring software that will then be able to establish your ID. And I think it's $7 a test. And then you can take the test from home, because being able to take the test and work from home seems to be the trend these days. Thanksgiving holiday. Go ahead, Al.
Also, the quizzes are basically, so Joe and I know, we might have gone over too fast, too slow. You might not have received it in your way of thinking. Just let us know. Because some people, hey, like myself, I like visual more than I do the other stuff. So if that's the case, let us know. We will curtail our classes to help you learn.
So as we look at how the course kind of goes, we'll go through each of these modules or each of these chapters each week. We'll tie them into the textbook. And then once we get to November and Thanksgiving holidays, we start getting into kind of a wrap up, where we just have a couple of more classes. And then, we review for the final exam. And then the last day to turn in drawings is December 15th. We typically give the final exam on the 8th. And then the 15th is kind of a mercy day for people who might not have been able to make it at that time. So if you're planning something to do in December, that's how the course is laid out.
Also, Joe, we want to talk to them, tell them about the 3D printers we have over at the campus, so we can have anything we want, or they can print something.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources, for in-person laboratories, and Al and I were both vocational instructors. And so as we go into, prototyping and other technologies, we have a very well laid out lab that has these Dremel 3D printers and Ultimaker printers. And if you're interested in learning about those things, come to the Sunday class and take a look around. And Al and I will take an assignment, model it on the computer, and then 3D print something. So here's the AutoCAD software, how you can get the AutoCAD software and how you can download that software. We talked about that briefly. There's a video for that as well. If you have trouble with your computer, you can VPN and use an Oakton computer, virtual private network. And so the VPN actually works really quite well. One of the instructors is teaching remotely, and he VPNs into the Oakton computer because that works for him. And so he'll VPN in, access an Oakton computer, and then he can use the CAD software and all the other softwares that are on the computers there as well. All right, so that covers the syllabus, the outline of topics, and then we're going to talk about more of the content area and nuts and bolts of it. And so as we take a look at this information here, what we want to do, and I'm not sure, it looks like I've got a couple of things. Let's take a look at module 1. Module 1 is going to be, our learning objectives are going to be starting AutoCAD using D2L, the AutoCAD interface, basic drawing and editing commands. And so we typically put the learning objectives and then a visual of the assignments that we'll do. And so here's the assignments. We'll make these 5 drawing plates. They'll be made with a title block. And then as we go through, we have a PowerPoint of the lecture for what commands we will use for that. And then we make videos of those lectures. And so we look at the PowerPoint, basically go through, we use AutoCAD for 2-dimensional drawings, 3-dimensional drawings, planning your work, things you need to kind of get into your head as far as being organized to use CAD. Drawing standards are a big thing. Being able to use drawing templates, units of measurement. Are you working in feet and inches, which would be an architectural template? Are you working in millimeters? Are you working in imperial units? Those are the little things that go into setting up a standard for the drawings. And then we look at the interface as we go through and we work with the interface. They modify it as they let new versions of the software out, but they're basically the same. You know, you'll get a splash page in the front of AutoCAD, which shows you your recent documents. And then you can go and open a recent document, or you can go back into a title block and download that and then begin the drawing applications. And so as we look at these, we don't necessarily have to go through this entire PowerPoint, but it's sort of vocabulary. So you understand the terminology, being able to call things like the ribbon, so that you understand this is how we input the coordinates and the commands, working with file tabs, working with model space, what the origin is, the X, Y, and Z axis, and just the general terminology for using AutoCAD. And then there's videos here. If I back into it, get the whole thing in there. So we do these video lectures and we recut them all the time. And so as we create them, you'll see some of them are a little bit older.
And Alan Rosen.
But most of them are pretty, we keep the content up to date the best we can. And so as we go through and we create these drawing assignments, you may see some nuances in there that's slightly different, but we've been doing this for quite a while. And we just start people on basic draw and edit commands. And so we'll create videos. And as you can see, as I'm following through the outline that we have on D2L, these things should look familiar as I've talked about them throughout this video. And so you can watch the videos. It's a great way to learn how to use CAD. And then if we come back here, back to module 1. Then we'll have the drawing assignments. And so you don't have to print them out. They charge you at Oakton to print them. Actually, they give you like 200 copies. And then after that, they start charging. And so virtually you can download these assignments. Typically, we'll tell people 2 monitors is a great way to go, but you could also have an iPad or your phone and be able to pull this content up as well. And then on the other computer, you can have your AutoCAD software. And so we'll create these different drawing assignments. and they'll look like this. And so here's an example of our first drawing assignment. And, typically people can go through and work their way through the assignments, where we'll go through and we'll start with these draw commands. We'll set up a grid and a snap, and then we'll create these drawings. I think I'm drawing in orange, but that's fine. And those are the little things that you might say, well, how come, how do I go and draw this in blue like you had it? Well, that's why you can come to the Zoom meeting, or you can email us, but essentially we can go through and click on those and then go into properties and then change those things over. Those are little things that we'd be happy to answer for you in these in-person Zoom meetings, or if you just blast us an email, we can do that. Or some students have said, hey, how come my circles don't look round? They look like ovals. And so Al's got a lot of knowledge as far as how to be able to fix those little issues. And so we're available on email, and that's really a great way to get a hold of us as we go through and create these different drawing shapes. Our idea is to just be able to go through and create these basic shapes with AutoCAD, and then be able to go and edit the text. I can come in here. Typically, we'll ask students to name the title block with their initials. These are plate drawings drawn in paper space. Other drawings will be more complicated. Put the dates on them and your name on it so that you get used to how the business works of working with drafting. Dates are important. And then it works kind of like Excel, where I can have these different Excel spreadsheet tabs with different title blocks. And so you kind of create these different books of drawings. And so here's a basic drawing, another one where we're using inclined lines. Then we start getting into things like working with different layers and different line types, orthographic drawing, projection, front view and right side view, and then working with things like center lines, center marks. And they update these things as the software kind of goes, but the language is still the same. Basically, it shows that this is a whole that goes all the way through this part, and it's represented by these hidden lines. And if you haven't had a basic drafting class or a engineering graphics class, those are typically what's required for graduation with an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, is just being able to understand the graphic language and dimensioning and tolerancing. All right. So back to module 1, and we'll start to kind of wrap things up here. So we have PowerPoints with our lectures in it. We have videos that will make those lectures, and then the drawing assignments. And then we'll have video instructions for those drawing assignments. So if I click on the video, module 1, basic, and we can kind of just go through kind of our routine, how we go through and draw these. The best thing to do is check out how to draw them on the videos, I think, because you can kind of get right to it. You have the content area. So that's module 1. The other modules are laid out very similar to that. And so if we take a quick look, we don't put all of them on because we're updating them as we go. And so we have the first 3. So here's module 1 and then module 2. We'll go through and we'll create an architectural floor plan drawing. And then again, here's the floor plan drawing. Then we'll have a mechanical drawing, and typically we'll tell students they can choose either the architectural or the mechanical. We'll use these title blocks. And so you can download a title block and open that. We also put other additional content. And so Al's got a great library of content if you're a design person, and it's 2D/3D. So as you go through and you open Al's content, he likes to model things in 3D, but it takes a little while to get the students there. But we'll put that content there so that students can then use that to create the table and chairs. And then as you go along, the person at the end who has the most content wins. And so collect as much as you can as far as furniture, so that when you go into the field and need to go and lay out an office plan, you have a selection of chairs, you have a selection of of shelves. You have a selection of different things like plants that you can put in. And so Al has done a great job of putting content in there for you. And as I said, we'll have an architectural and we'll also have a mechanical assignment associated with almost all of the labs. And then we go into lab 3, kind of just make sure everybody's getting to understand basic draw and modify concepts. So we'll have general design, and then here's a mechanical and an architectural, and we'll tell students to choose one or the other. It's the same layout. All right, I'm going to circle around back to the basic splash page. And then Al, you can kind of help wrap it up if there's anything you want to add before we start to end the Zoom meeting.
Well, if you go back to content real quick, Joe,
Mhm.
and scroll down. Stop right there. As you can take a look at their shortcuts, basically, if Joe clicks on it real quick and clicks on it, it's a page and a half, I think, something like that, of if you like to type it in and also get it that way. So there's multiple ways we can show you how to get the software up, or the sub commands or routine commands ready to go. Go back up, please. Go back one slot. One more. Okay, go to content, go down, and you will see content. Keep going down. Right there, stop. Design Center, and there's CAD materials. If you left click on Design Center, that's a zip file. You're gonna need a thumb drive, or junk drive, or whatever else you need. Or you can download it right to your computer. It's up to you. That will have everything you possibly need. And all you want to do is just click on Design Center and download. And once you click on download, just follow along right along with it, and it downloads all the information. There's tons of different things that are there. So also materials. Same.
Right. And so there's some additional content in
Joey,
there.
You want to
you
stop this one?
My internet connection is getting unstable, so I'm going to stop the download. I'm using too much bandwidth. But as we go through and we start to wrap things up,
okay.
You have the Design Center, and then we have the first 3 chapters laid out. And we'll have these weekly Zoom meetings every every Thursday morning. Students are welcome to come in on Sundays. And if you need any additional assistance, you can always email us. And I think that's a good place to kind of wrap things up, Al, and stop the video. And maybe it's my internet connection that's not stable.
Okay, let's stop that video. Can we do a little quick video on just on?
Yeah, so we're going to stop the video and then we're going to
Okay.
open things up for questions.
We can stop this one and start.